Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go ahead and do a review on, get ready for it because it's a mouthful, it is the PK Delta 4-tier vertical hybrid plate and kettlebell storage rack. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Alright guys, when it comes to home gyms, we all know that storage is important. Now I wanted to get my kettlebells off the floor, so I ended up upgrading my storage. And originally I ended up having some Hampton plates along with a Troy storage post. And I just got rid of all of that. I gave it away. Now you do get to choose the tiers that you want. So I ended up going with the 2 tiers for the kettlebell storage and the 2 tiers for plate, but you can choose which one you want. And honestly, this thing fit my space very well. It only takes up a little over 4 square feet. So you're looking at length of 25 inches and the width of 24. And then you're looking at a height of 70.5 inches. They did do a very good job when it comes to shipping. Yeah, I believe it comes in 3 boxes and everything is very well done. It's very well packaged, so you shouldn't have to worry about any damage while it's in transit. The base is 2 by 3 inches when it comes to the steel. You are looking at 11 gauge steel everywhere. So you do have an upright, which is going to be 3 by 3 with 1-inch holes spaced every 2 inches apart. And you basically take this upright, you put it on the base, and then you have gussets. So you have 2 gussets that you basically bolt on together. That's what basically creates the foundation for this unit. So when it comes to the kettlebell shelf itself, there is like a rubber adhesive liner inside. So when you put this on there, it's not metal on metal. And they do include some tools for you guys. So it's very easy to assemble this yourself, but I do recommend obviously having a socket wrench because it's just easier to put this thing together. All right guys, when it comes to the kettlebell shelf, there is no liner whatsoever. So this is an opportunity for improvement. About 5 months ago, this was not included. But now when I look on their website, they do have one for $8.99. That's only for 1, so you do need 2 for each shelf. So you're looking at around $36 to get these kettlebell shelf liners, which I feel like they should have been included, or at least an option to be included. The kettlebell shelf is very well done, besides obviously no liner. It's reinforced to the point where you're not going to have to worry about weight capacity. You're easily going to run out of room before you can max out the kettlebell shelf. I put all of my kettlebells on top of this shelf and it didn't budge. And I ran out of kettlebells, so then I stuck my weapons on the next one, and that's around 200 pounds. And again, this thing is very, very stable. So you're going to probably want to play around when it comes to the kettlebell shelf spacing. I put the bottom one relatively easy, but the top one I did play around with and kind of popped in the kettlebell shelf, and then I kind of hand tightened it to see like what height I wanted. So I do have mine pretty much to the point where I can get the kettlebells in there, but the bumpers, there's not a lot of space in between the bumpers, which is fine for my needs. Plate storage, on the other hand, is another opportunity for improvement. So they do have the plate storage, and I believe it's around 1.63 inches for diameter. So it's not going to be super snug, so you're not going to have to worry about possibly not getting your plates on there. But it also is going to be very loose. Now the opportunity for improvement is they don't have any caps on the bolt heads or the nuts. So if you don't have the caps on the bolts or the nuts, then you should have a spacer that allows you to have a gap between the plate and the bolts. Now when it comes down to price, so interesting to say, this price was actually $699 when I bought it in Black Friday. I got free shipping along with, I think it was like 20% off. But now it's $599. Usually prices, they don't usually go down. They usually stay the same or they go up. So I'm not exactly sure why, especially since I didn't get any kettlebell shelf liners, but that's just me complaining. So guys, do I think this is worth it for your home gym? Well, it really depends. Do you guys have kettlebells and do you guys have plate storage? If you guys have a place to put them, or if you don't mind them being on the floor, then no, you really don't need it. But if you do want to get your kettlebells off the floor and you want to get some plate storage, this thing takes up very little space. Like I said, a little over 4 square feet, 70.5 inches. So it's perfect when it comes down to a home gym. And that's pretty much why I ended up buying it. It doesn't take up a lot of space and it does fit my needs. And that's important when it comes down to it. You don't need to buy something if it doesn't fit your needs. So like I said, it's all up to you guys whether or not you want to buy this unit. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, I'd appreciate you guys hitting the like button. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop me a comment. And if you haven't already, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss any future content. Otherwise, I hope you guys all have a great day. Take care.